Man wants to even control death, and that's the only thing that Shiva doesn't let us do. So when people do the Mahamrityunjay, they pray to Shiva, but Shiva is also about death. I wish I would have taken this person to another hospital. Please can you check if I had taken them, would they be still alive? जैसे कोविड के टाइम पे एक बहुत बड़ा पोर्टल खुल गया था. वो जो पोर्टल था वो इतना बड़ा था कि जिस सोल ने अपना पर्पस अटेन नहीं किया था उसने डिसाइड किया कि ये पोर्टल खुला है, अब निकल ही जाओ अगला जन्म में. एंड व्हेन आई स्पोक टू देम आई सेड क्या भाई हमारी तो मीटिंग थी, क्या हुआ? नहीं बहुत हो गया, बहुत कर लिया लाइफ में. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना गेम एंड, डेथ इज जस्ट अ गेम एंड. पीपल should tell their family members that don't put me on a ventilator. Spiritually, it is one of the best things that you can do by donating your organs. You transcend at least 5 lifetimes. Wow. You can shortcut 5 lifetimes if you give even one organ.
How do souls look like?
Pretty much like what they look like in real life.
Really?
There's so many times I go into a washroom and I think बहुत ही crowded है. And then बहुत ही ध्यान से देखने के बाद लगता है यहाँ 2 इंसान हैं और बाकी सारे सो गए. So I have office hours for spirits, by the way. Yeah. पहली बात तो मोक्ष 0.0000001% को भी नहीं मिल सकता.
आपने कभी ये एक्सपीरियंस तो किया होगा कि आप अपना कोई फेवरेट गाना सुन रहे हो और गाना खत्म होने के बाद उस गाने का एको फिर भी आपके जहन में रहता है, राइट? लाइफ उस गाने की तरह है और वो खत्म होने के बाद हमारे लव्ड वंस की मेमोरी हमारे जहन में उसी एको की तरह रहती है. हाय, आई एम नताशा सिंह एंड वेलकम टू अनचार्टेड कॉन्वर्सेशंस. आज का हमारा जो एपिसोड है थोड़ा सेंसिटिव टॉपिक पे है बिकॉज वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट डेथ, लेकिन इम्पॉर्टेंट भी है क्योंकि जब वो मोमेंट आता है और उसके बाद उस लॉस को ग्रीव करना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है. और इसको डिस्कस करने के लिए जो हमारी आज गेस्ट है, शी इज़ एन इंटरनेशनली रिनाउंड स्पिरिचुअल कोच, एन आकाशिक रिकॉर्ड रीडर, अ साइकिक मीडियम एंड एन ऑटोमेटिक राइटिंग एक्सपर्ट. उनका 19 साल का कॉर्पोरेट एक्सपीरियंस था when she actually encountered a near-death experience. और वहाँ से life took a turn for her. वहाँ से she delved full time into spirituality और आज वो अपने काम से almost 5 million से भी ज़्यादा लोगों को impact कर चुके हैं. I'm talking about Dr. Manmeet Kumar and I'm so excited to have her for this conversation. So let's get into it straight away. Hi Dr. Manmeet, welcome to Uncharted Conversations and big gratitude to you for doing this with us. It's a very special episode and so much of gratitude to you.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Natasha.
Thank you. And directly conversation में delve करना चाहूँगी मैं. आज का topic भी बहुत sensitive है, right? ये literally this is our way of giving all the possible information and help उन लोगों को जिन्होंने अपने loved ones को खोया है और आप बहुत बार उस डिलेमा से निकल नहीं पाते हो, बहुत बार मूव ऑन नहीं कर पाते हो क्योंकि वो ट्रॉमा इतना कैथार्टिक होता है, राइट? सो मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे, डेथ प्री डिटरमिन्ड होती है या यहाँ फ्री विल का कोई काम है?
डेथ सबसे पहले एक अल्टीमेट रियलिटी है. मैं यहाँ से शुरू करना चाहूंगी कि डेथ एक अंत नहीं है. डेथ इज ओनली अ कॉमा. अब हम दोनों लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं, अब हम यहाँ से उठ के जाएंगे, दूसरे कमरे में जाएंगे, कपड़े चेंज करेंगे और वहां पे एक पॉडकास्ट करेंगे, तो क्या हम भूल जाएंगे हमने यहाँ पे क्या बोला? या यहाँ वाले लोग ये नहीं देख पाएंगे कि हम साथ वाले कमरे में बैठे हैं? So for all the people who are listening, I would like to say that death is not the end. Death is only a pause and a renewal of your soul. Is death predetermined or is death does free will come into it? डेथ के देखिए 3 एग्जिट पॉइंट्स होते हैं हमारे लाइफ में. और ये जो एग्जिट पॉइंट्स होते हैं ये सॉर्ट ऑफ डिटरमिन्ड होते हैं इस बात को लेके कि आप उस लाइफ की स्टेज में, लेट्स से 36 इयर्स आपका एक पॉइंट है, 42 इयर्स और 72 इयर्स. सो आपको 36 इयर्स में एक ऐसा टाइम आएगा और प्लैनेटरी मूवमेंट भी आपकी ऐसी आएगी, कोई महादशा, कोई दशा चेंज होना, कि आपने एक मेन लेसन सीख लिया. क्या अब आपका सोल लिबरेट होने को रेडी है?
Okay.
इससे पहले कि हम डेथ की बात करें, हमें ये बात करनी चाहिए कि हमारा प्री बर्थ प्लान क्या होता है. प्री बर्थ प्लान हमारा सोल पहले से डिसाइड करता है कि मैं इस जन्म में जाकर ये सब करने आया हूँ. एक मेरा मेन पर्पस है और कुछ चीजें मुझे सीखनी है. आई ऑलवेज लिंक इट टू like how students go to a school, right? The syllabus is predetermined at the beginning of the year, and we tell our children that listen, जो मर्जी करना, खेलना, फ्रेंड्स बनाना, मस्ती करना, ट्रिप पे जाना, लेकिन इन दी एंड आपका गोल है कि इस क्लास को पास करना. वैसे ही वो जो गोल होता है वो हमारा लाइफ पर्पस होता है. लोगों को लाइफ पर्पस नहीं पता होता, इसलिए वो बहुत कंफ्यूज्ड होते हैं. और वैसे ही हमारा सोल पर्पस होता है. जो हमारे एग्जिट पॉइंट्स होते हैं डेथ के, वो हमारे सोल पर्पस से रिलेटेड होते हैं. क्या हमने अपना सोल पर्पस 36 तक सीख लिया? एंड आई डोंट वांट टू कंफ्यूज द ऑडियंस कि सबका ही पॉइंट 36 और 42 होता है. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल. सो क्या हमने सब कुछ सीख लिया? हाँ, अगर सीख लिया देन वी कैन गो. अच्छा नहीं तो फिर और 6 साल वेट करते हैं. सेकंड पॉइंट 42 था. 42 में क्या हमने सीख लिया? नहीं. ठीक है, फिर अब काफी चांसेस कम आएंगे. हमने अपनी दशा वगैरह ऐसे ही प्लान करी है. अब हम 70 तक जाएंगे. 72 के पास तो फिर हम शायद चले जाएं. तो लोग कहते हैं, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कि तीसरी 7.5 जब आती है 70s में, उसमें लोग चले जाते हैं. सो एवरीथिंग कोइंसाइड्स इन द एंड. इट जस्ट बिकम्स वन साइंस, वेदर इट्स एस्ट्रोलॉजी, इट्स न्यूमरोलॉजी. इट ऑल is linked to the main theme, which is what is your soul's chart, what is your soul's purpose, what's your soul's journey, why have you come here. So people will tell me, oh, but so and so was so happy, we have no idea how he suddenly passed away. But he has not suddenly passed away. His soul knew it all along, and therefore these people will talk about these things. They will have a desperation of celebrating Diwali with their parents, for example, in their mind knowing that they may not be there for too many Diwalis. They are not able to pinpoint that feeling, but they will suddenly start becoming either very conscious about family or about their desires. There are some people who want to, have some ticks in the boxes regarding, their trips, travels, places that they want to visit. They'll suddenly leave their job and, just wander, or if they are workaholics, they'll get even more intensely into it so that they can get promoted, whatever it may be. Does free will have to do anything with it? No. It's pretty predestined, but I would say that the wonderful part is that it's chosen by your soul. No one has done anything to you. Poor God ends up taking all the blame. सब भगवान की गलती है, भगवान ने उसको उठा लिया. नहीं, भगवान यहाँ पे कहता है कि आपकी फ्री विल है, आपकी चॉइस है. और एक सोल जब मृत्यु को प्राप्त होती है बॉडी, और जब सोल स्पिरिट वर्ल्ड में जाता है, स्पिरिट वर्ल्ड से वो प्लानिंग शुरू करता है कि मैं अपना अगला जन्म कैसे लूंगा. और वो जो जन्म होता है वो उसके आकाशिक रिकॉर्ड्स को हम रीड करते हैं. वो रीड करते हैं चित्रगुप्त के साथ. ये हिंदू आकाशिक रिकॉर्ड्स का जो ट्रेडिशन है, वो ये मानता है कि आप जब मर जाते हो, आपकी आत्मा ऊपर जाती है, तो चित्रगुप्त के साथ बैठ के आप अपनी पूरी लाइफ को एक मूवी की तरह व्यू करते हैं. उस मूवी में आपने कब कब क्या क्या किया, वो आपको बैठ के बताएंगे. देखिए आपका पर्पस ये था, देखिए यहाँ पे हमने आपको बहुत साइंस दिए थे लेकिन आपने किया नहीं. फिर आप कहोगे अच्छा मेरे को करना चाहिए था. इट्स लाइक रीकैपिंग समबडीज टेस्ट पेपर. ओके, उसके बाद आप कहते हो कि हाँ ये तो मैंने ना फ्री विल से गलत कर लिया, ये कर्मा था, ये गलत कर लिया, अब इस इंसान के साथ ये अगले जन्म में ठीक करना पड़ेगा. तो आप दो लिस्ट बनाते हो. एक आपने क्या क्या नहीं सीखा एज ए लेसन, और एक आपने क्या क्या कार्मिक इंटरफेरेंस किया एक दूसरे के कर्मा में. सो ये जो दोनों लिस्ट होती हैं, इसको सिलेबस बना के आप अगला जन्म लेने की प्लानिंग करते हो.
And that becomes your destiny, kind of.
Sort of, broadly. And in that destiny also God says we will give you free will, which means मोटा मोटा आपको इस लाइफ में करेज के साथ जीना है. लेकिन फिर भी फ्री विल है कि अगर आप नहीं जीना चाहते तो फिर आप डरपोक बन के जियो. फिर नेक्स्ट जन्म में it becomes a little more difficult, but it does play out. So that's exactly how the cycle of birth and death plays out.
And this is what soul purpose is also.
Soul purpose could be anything.
Okay.
Courage could be a lesson. Somebody's soul purpose could be that in this life I have to learn self-respect. So a person who has to learn self-respect will attract the opposite of self-respect, which is abuse,
yeah.
verbal, sexual, mental, physical, financial, right? A person who has to learn, for example, a lesson of standing up for oneself will be born in a family that makes them dependent on them, parents who don't give a lot of independence, or getting married to spouses who are very protective and possessive. So they will attract the opposite of it so that they can fight it. It's like an obstacle course. They fight it and they move forward. So I teach all of this in my automatic writing workshop. In fact, this is the base of that.
So basically, some fights are not bad. वो लड़ाइयाँ इसलिए जरूरी है ताकि आप अपना सोल पर्पस अटेन कर सकें.
और इसीलिए नताशा ये जानना बहुत जरूरी है कि आपका सोल पर्पस क्या है, आपकी लेसन्स क्या हैं, और जो हमें कोई एडवाइस देता है वो एडवाइस उस पर्सन के लिए तो ठीक हो सकती है. सपोज यू आस्क योर मदर that should I leave everything and go in search of the holy grail in Himalayas? Your mother will say, नहीं, आप शादी करो, आपके बच्चे हैं, आपको उनको देखना है. Now she's also coming from a protective perspective and giving you something that she feels is a good life. But if you ask the same question to your guides, and maybe your guides will tell you that, no, Natasha, your purpose is actually not this world. If you don't renounce it now, you'll have to do it in the next life. It's an example. So taking decisions based on people is so old time now. Now we take decisions based on what our spirit guides are telling us, which we learn through automatic writing, so that we know. I actually say that automatic writing is a spiritual GPS. Where are you headed to? Is based, if it is based on the map that we got from our parents, that may not be the best thing. Not that parents are bad. Parents are God. But if we don't know that the direction that we are going in or the steps that we are taking are in alignment with our soul purpose, it's not a successful life.
That's deep. That's deep. I'm sure ये बहुत लोगों को hit करेगा क्योंकि हमारी life typically already हमें पता होता है कि क्या करना है, right? वो foundation, वो कहते हैं ना खांचा बना हुआ है और आप उसी हिसाब से जीते हो. I'm sure this is gonna hit a lot of people. But so ये जो आपने बोला, जैसे अगर किसी को अपना सोल पर्पस पता करना है तो वो आप आकाशिक रिकॉर्ड्स के थ्रू you can
Akashic records also an automatic writing.
Yes. Okay. So that means कि एक सोल खुद अपना बर्थ और डेथ सिचुएशन चूज करती है. उस केस में अगर किसी की डेथ अचानक हो जाती है, कोई एक्सीडेंट में चला गया या इतने हॉरिबल एक्सीडेंट्स होते हैं उसमें चला गया, वो पूरी लाइफ तो बहुत हेल्दी थे पूरे लाइफ टाइम, और अचानक से उनको कोई बहुत फैटल डिजीज हुआ है और वो लास्ट स्टेज पे, और देयर इज नो नेचुरल प्रोग्रेशन, सडनली थिंग्स चेंज. सो यू आर सेइंग कि वो भी आपकी सोल ने चूज कर रखा होता है.
देयर आर नो एक्सीडेंट्स इन द स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड.
ओके,
देयर आरंट एनी.
सो दैट मीन्स क्योंकि उनके आसपास के जो लोग होते हैं जो उनको बहुत चाहते हैं, उनको सेफ और प्रोटेक्टेड रखने के लिए हम लोग बहुत हीलिंग मोडालिटीज अडॉप्ट करना चाहते हैं उस टाइम पे, चाहे फिर वो महामृत्युंजय जाप हो या फिर वो दूसरी टाइप की हीलिंग हो, राइट? ये सोच के, ये मान के कि दिस इज गोइंग टू वर्क. सो इन दैट केस what I'm understanding that none of this matters then. Or does it matter?
It does, because there are 3 exit points. And in the second exit point or the first, people may have a near-death experience also. Or they may be called back by their relatives and the soul says, okay, I'm ready to go. And whatever is left over, it's okay, I'll take it in my next life. But the relatives don't want to let them go. And sometimes they succumb to those attachments. And they say, ठीक है, एक free will का chance कि कर लेते हैं. So that could be one. Second could be that the accident that has happened or the fatal disease that has happened is actually a soul awakening.
Okay.
And they want to learn something from that. Okay. So it was not that the soul has decided कि मेरा काम हो गया, अब हम जाने वाले हैं. It could be that the accident comes as almost death. So exit points में almost death होती है. या तो transformation death होती है, या फिजिकल डेथ होती है, या फाइनेंशियल डेथ होती है, या इंसान बिल्कुल खत्म हो जाता है इन द मेटाफोरिक सेंस, एंड देन ही बाउंसेस बैक. सो दैट कुड बी, सो द हीलिंग मोडालिटीज विल हेल्प. बट इफ द सोल हैज ऑलरेडी डिसाइडेड, जैसे कोविड के टाइम पे एक बहुत बड़ा पोर्टल खुल गया था. वो जो पोर्टल था वो इतना बड़ा था कि जिस सोल ने अपना पर्पस अटेन नहीं किया था, उसने डिसाइड किया कि ये पोर्टल खुला है, आप निकल ही जाओ, अगला जन्म लेंगे.
और
So
वहाँ
for
सीखेंगे.
many people, it was their second exit point. I know it because I knew people. I had meetings with them the next week, virtual meetings, and they just decided to silently pass over on Saturday. And when I spoke to them, I said, क्या भाई, हमारी तो मीटिंग थी, क्या हुआ? नहीं, बहुत हो गया, बहुत कर लिया लाइफ में. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, गेम एंड. Death is just a game end. And let's restart all over again.
So they want to come again and again learn the same lesson.
Same
that
lesson,
they were
because they
supposed to.
just felt that, they don't have the resources or the willpower now to play this anymore. So that was a big portal. So sometimes it will help, and sometimes these healing modalities will not help. The question is not how much the power of the healing modality is.
Sure.
The question is, what is the decision of the soul?
Of the soul, right? So even like you said कि कभी-कभी attachments इतनी होती हैं तो वो रह जाते हैं. उस केस में क्या, बिकॉज मैंने ऐसा सुना है कि आपकी सोल को आगे जाके वो शायद कहीं इनकन्वीनियंस ना हो अगर आपने बहुत उन्हें अटैचमेंट्स की वजह से रोक लिया. सो क्या उनका वो नेक्स्ट किसी लाइफ का टाइमलाइन हैम्पर करता है, या कुछ उनका नेक्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट हैम्पर करता है अगर वो अटैचमेंट्स की वजह से किसी एग्जिट पॉइंट पे रुक जाते हैं?
नहीं, आगे की लाइफ को नहीं हैम्पर करता.
Okay.
लेकिन उनके लिए काफी डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है वो अटैचमेंट से बाहर निकल पाना. इन रेयर केसेस ऐसे लोग जो बहुत ज्यादा अटैच्ड होते हैं, वो जब मरते हैं तो वो कभी कभी प्रेत योनि में चले जाते हैं, बिकॉज वो लाइफ में मूव ही नहीं करना चाहते. दे आर सो अटैच्ड टू देयर फैमिली, टू देयर हाउस, टू देयर वर्क, दैट so I was sitting at the airport yesterday in Bombay, and there was a gentleman sitting next to me. He must have been easily 84 to 85, and he was a owner of a very big business. So he was talking to somebody, and he was saying that मैं अपने पुराने कस्टमर से लास्ट टाइम मिलने के लिए आ रहा हूँ दिल्ली, एंड वो उनको फोन पे कह रहे थे. और कह रहे थे कि मैं इसके बाद तो शायद नहीं आ पाऊंगा, बिकॉज अब एज इतनी हो गई है कि अब पता नहीं ये साल भी निकलेगा. ये साल ही मस्ट हैव meant 2025. एंड देन ही सेड कि मैं बहुत सोचता हूँ, एंड द कस्टमर मस्ट हैव बीन क्वाइट ओल्ड एज वेल, कि मैं बहुत सोचता हूँ कि इस बिजनेस को मैं छोड़ के कैसे जाऊंगा. आई प्रिज्यूम ही मे हैव रिटायर्ड ऑलरेडी, राइट? मुझे लगता है कि मरने के बाद भी मुझे इसी बिजनेस से अटैचमेंट रह जाएगी, मुझे शांति नहीं मिलेगी, क्या पता किसी ने इसको गलत रन कर दिया. Now definitely that was a gentleman who started his business from scratch, and he has so much of attachment to it, just like all of us do. But you know what? We are not trained to let go. At a certain age, there are workshops on death, there are modalities, there are courses in other countries that teach you how to let go at the age of 50 first, then 60 first, then 70. Detachment from everything. So people in other countries also start giving away their stuff in a certain way. They write their wills, they know what to do. So, you have a whole plan that if I go, this is how it will be given. And the things that we really don't know who to give it to, they start then decluttering space. And that was actually a very ancient tradition as well in the, in our dharma, in the Hindu Sanatan dharma many years ago, कि जो बुजुर्ग होते थे वो रिटायर हो जाते थे, जो घर का कोर होता था उसमें यंगस्टर्स रहते थे अपनी फाइट्स में, किचन के पावर स्ट्रगल्स में and all of that. The moment you would turn 45 or 50, you would be moved to a outer sect of the house that would only be fed but not be engaged in power struggles,
not in decision making.
हाँ, decision making or anything. Permission blessings के लिए आते थे. और फिर जब आप 70 के हो जाते थे तो एक बिल्कुल ही आउटर सर्कल होता था, और वो आउटर सर्कल सिर्फ प्रोटेक्शन के लिए होता था कि अगर इनको कभी कोई जरूरत पड़ गई. और फिर वो लोग जाके गांव के बच्चों को पढ़ाते थे और समाज सेवा करते थे, मेडिटेशन में चले जाते थे. So one would detach from the core of life
and start moving towards
moksha or salvation or understanding or gaining inner consciousness.
That's why the 4 ashrams were also there.
Yes. So that was the process. And now in other countries this has started, but surprisingly in India, the older we are becoming, the more attached, aggressive and ambitious we are becoming to live more and more. And therefore then when suddenly it happens and your soul says, listen, leave all of this, our job is done, let's go. The body is not ready. So the body will continue to be on the ventilator for days. The body doesn't want to go. The soul is also sort of divided. So when I talk to their higher selves, they're like, yeah, I mean, at one level, we know we want to go. But you know what? We are not able to go.
Because of that.
So therefore the limbo. And therefore sometimes, they don't enter light because the desires are so many and the attachment is so intense that.
So that means when, this new movement that has come up, जहाँ हम बोलते हैं कि आप अपनी जिंदगी किसी भी एज में शुरू कर सकते हो, you can maybe start a business at the age of 70. So then spiritually, is it right or is it not? Because हम उस एज में जाके अगर हम कुछ शुरुआत कर रहे हैं, I'm sure वो attachments भी उस हिसाब से आएंगे, right?
नहीं, यहाँ पे मुझे ये बताना है कि हम शुरू अपनी लाइफ किसी भी एज पे कर सकते हैं, शादी भी कर सकते हैं 70 पे, as long as we know that we are one individual and this is the part of our life and not our life. You can see obsession at the age of 20 also. You see teenage obsessions, people. Right. So obsession or anything that is in extreme is not a natural value. Spirituality में balance एक बहुत बड़ी value है. तो life and death का balance, work and home का balance, आपके emotional stability का balance. You can own anything, but nothing should own you.
Yeah, that's what true detachment is.
Yeah, so you could own a business, you could own multiple things, you can have multiple relationships. Your father, your mother, your children, your friends, your colleagues, your employees. But
attachment.
So I say all the time in my Shiva podcast, and that is why Shiva is the god of detachment. And इसीलिए हम महामृत्युंजय भी करते हैं डेथ के टाइम पे. हम इसलिए नहीं कर रहे कि इनकी जान बचा लो, इनकी जान बचा लो. हम कह रहे हैं कि सोल को ये पता चले कि जब डिटैचमेंट का टाइम आए तो हम कितनी आराम से उसको लेट गो कर सकें.
बहुत सारे लोगों को मैंने देखा है कि जब ऐसा कोई सिचुएशन आता है, उनका फर्स्ट रिजॉर्ट होता है, अच्छा महामृत्युंजय जाप कराते हैं. और मुझे लग रहा है कि बहुत सारे लोगों को यही समझ में आता है कि ये करके जान बच जाएगी.
शिवा इज द गॉड ऑफ टू थिंग्स, डेथ एंड क्रिएशन. So, वो कहते हैं कि ठीक है, आप इनको मौत के मुंह से बचा लाइए, जैसे उन्होंने मार्कंडे को बचा लाया. तो इसलिए वो ये सोच के प्रे करते हैं. बट शिवा इज ऑल्सो द अल्टीमेट कॉन्शियसनेस एंड ही इज द अल्टीमेट डिटैचर. So Mahamrityunjay Jap actually detaches you from the attachments that are not letting you realize that you are infinite in any case.
Makes sense.
You are infinite. The sun is going to come out every day. The sun doesn't die. The sun is not born. तो कृष्ण क्या कहते हैं भागवत गीता में कि आत्मा अमर है. जन्म और मृत्यु का साइकिल चलता रहेगा. आपकी बॉडी चेंज होती रहेगी, आपके रोल्स, आपकी फैमिलीज शायद चेंज होती रहे, लेकिन आत्मा वही रहती है. So when people do the Mahamrityunjay, they pray to Shiva, but Shiva is also about death.
बहुत बार हमने ऐसा सुना है कि लोग कहते हैं जब उनका कोई लव बन जाता है कि ये तो ये इतने अच्छे थे, इन्होंने तो हमेशा सबकी हेल्प करी है, इन्होंने कभी किसी का बुरा नहीं चाहा, बट उनका डेथ एक ऐसे पेनफुल सिचुएशन में होता है कि वो फैमिली उस चीज से निकल नहीं पाती, उस ट्रॉमा से निकल नहीं पाती, बिकॉज उनको यही रहता है कि ही नेवर डिड एनीथिंग रॉन्ग, देन व्हाई डिड ही हैव टू गो लाइक दैट. क्या वो किसी पास्ट कर्मा से रिलेटेड होता है, या हाउ इन सच अ सिचुएशन कैन अ फैमिली मेक पीस विद द फैक्ट कि हाँ ये इंसान पेन में गया है, और कैसे उससे मूव ऑन कर सके.
जो हमारे स्पिरिट गाइड्स होते हैं, बहुत सारे हमारे गॉड्स होते हैं, वो हमें जो सफरिंग बिफोर डेथ होती है वो हमारा एक कार्मिक रिलीज होता है. कुछ सोल्स चूज करते हैं, सो आई वुड से दैट इन द एंड इट्स द सोल्स चॉइस. कुछ सोल्स चूज करते हैं, कुछ सोल्स नहीं चूज करते. कुछ सोल्स कहते हैं कि अगर मैंने इतना सफर किया तो मेरा इतना कर्मा कट हो जाएगा. सो इट्स नॉट पेन एज वी परसीव इट टू बी. That suffering is cutting out some sort of karmic debt from that person, and the choice is the soul's. Some people just die suddenly, right? That's also a soul choice. But it's then you're not cutting off karmas, you're just elongating your birth and death cycle. There's no right and wrong in any case. It's only about what you're choosing. So the family has to understand that this is a soul's choice. It is between the soul and God. And they are making decisions in the best of the soul's, journey. and therefore they are the observers. This whole extreme attachment concept comes from a need to control everything. And death is the only thing that you cannot control. I cannot tell you as a medium, I meet people and they always tell me, I wish I would have taken this person to another hospital. Please, can you check if I had taken them, would they be still alive? Man wants to even control death. And that's the only thing that Shiva doesn't let us control.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we should not do anything. We should do our best. But realize that it's in the hands of not God, but the soul. Whatever he wants, right? And then say, पर वो तो मरना नहीं चाहते थे. ये आपको लगता है कि वो मरना नहीं चाहते थे. शायद उनकी कॉन्शियस माइंड में वो नहीं मरना चाहते थे. पर उनके सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में उनके सोल की रियलिटी, उनके डेथ का पॉइंट ये ऑलरेडी पहले से पता था उनको. So they have to make peace with the fact that they are only the observers and not the participants. इसमें दो ही participants हैं, God and the soul. The rest of them are only facilitators.
Yeah. When you said that hospital wala line, literally मेरे goosebumps आ गए because we were also thinking to shift hospitals at that point of time, honestly. Or my nephew is still in kind of guilt कि हमने shift नहीं किया और इसलिए उनका. Thank you so much, honestly, for saying this because I think my family needed to hear this. So thank you so much. And yeah. Okay, my next question. क्या डेथ से पहले जो एक सोल फील कर रही होती है, जो एक्सपीरियंस वो फील कर रही होती है, क्या उसका इम्प्रिंट उस सोल के साथ जाता है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जब केदारनाथ हुआ था उस टाइम पे आई एम श्योर उस हादसे से पहले डर का माहौल रहा होगा, राइट? और वो एक इतनी स्पिरिचुअली पावरफुल जगह है. टिपिकली हम यही सोचते हैं ना कि कोई मुसीबत होती है सबसे पहले, इनफैक्ट पहले की पिक्चर्स में भी दिखाते थे कि मंदिर भागते हैं, राइट? यू फील सेफ, यू फील प्रोटेक्टेड. ऐसी जगह कुछ ऐसा हो जाए, मुझे लग रहा है आप शायद बिट्रियल भी फील होता होगा कि अरे आपके पास तो आए इसलिए थे और यहाँ पे ये हादसा हो गया. सो दैट फियर, दैट सेंस ऑफ बिट्रियल, डज दैट इम्प्रिंट kind of leave its impression on the soul, and does that also determine the kind of next birth the soul is going to have?
As far as the emotion is concerned, I think that anybody who dies in a spiritual place, his last emotion is not fear, it is surrender.
Okay.
Because you're in a spiritual space, you surrender more.
Sure.
And in the end, you say कि ये God की मर्जी होगी. Second thing is that whenever you have places like Kedarnath where these kind of things happen, they say that you attain salvation. You're the chosen ones. So आपका जन्म और मृत्यु का साइकिल खत्म नहीं हो जाता है. जैसे अगर आप कुछ चांट करते करते मर रहे हो, डिपेंडिंग ऑन आपने वो साधना कहाँ तक करी है, high chances that you would not be born again. Similarly with incidents like this. Having said that, Kedarnath also happened because man wants to control everything to the extent that they destroyed that temple, right, because of which the Devi temple, because of this, right, happened. Right. Temples are just not made of, idols and bricks. It's a hub of spiritual energy. Right. So every time you disturb the base of a spiritual energy and a hub like that, this is going to happen. Right. So we want to again control. We want to say, नहीं, हम इसका corridor बनाएंगे, इसका कुछ और बनाएंगे. नहीं बनाना भगवान को corridor. भगवान ने हर चीज किसी ना किसी रीजन से वहां पे रखी हुई है. You also spoke about emotions coming into your next life when you die. That's true. Somebody who has been shot dead at gunpoint will be born in extreme fear, aggression, defense, and will be very reactive. Okay, so yes, the emotions you die in are the emotions that you're born with. But specifically, spiritually, if you say that someone went in Kedarnath and therefore, I would say that no. In the end, it's our state of consciousness, Natasha, how we look at, for example, हमें लगता है कि वो डर में गए और लोगों को लगता है कि भगवान ने क्यों नहीं बचाया. पर मैं कह रही हूँ कि भगवान ने तो बचाया. Otherwise, they could have been trapped under rocks for days and suffered and all of that. भगवान ने बचाया. हो सकता है उनकी साइकिल ही, इनफैक्ट आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि उनकी साइकिल ही खत्म कर दी ऑफ लाइफ एंड डेथ.
बट लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू सेड कि वो गलती किसी और की थी, राइट, जिसकी वजह से, तो क्या ये भी उन सोल्स ने अपने ऊपर वो ओनस लिया था कि वो अवेकनिंग के लिए, वो एक लेसन एस्टैब्लिश करने के लिए कि ये स्पिरिचुअल हब यहाँ से नहीं हिलना चाहिए,
Yes.
दिस इज आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दैट वी गो थ्रू दिस?
So this is called a consciousness at a country level, for example. So some souls do take up that in their karmic chart, that we will go through a certain experience so that the level of consciousness of a country increases. The Nirbhaya case, why did it happen? Of course, there was something karmic between both of them. But she took it upon herself that women's safety has to go to the next level, because of which I will undergo this. So whenever we are doing our karmic chart, we are not only doing it for our own evolution, we are doing it for the evolution of a family, which is where the ancestral lineage, the pitra, the shrad comes in. We are doing it at the level of the country, which is the examples that I've given you. We are doing it at the level of society, which is where AIDS, etc. comes in. Remember that whole thing when AIDS had come in? The LGBT movement had come in. The hippie movement had come in. That was for the world's greater good. So more and more evolved souls are now going towards taking over the responsibility of raising the consciousness of the universe. Autism, special needs children, what are they doing? They are actually angels. They are angels in the form of these very innocent looking children who have come here to raise the consciousness of the universe, saying that, you know, these guys are really going into a lot of negative emotions. We need to teach them unconditional love. Because there's so much of competition in every school that a child who comes even third or fourth is not getting admission anywhere in colleges. So love me for who I am, not for what I do. So to bring that unconditionality, and people usually, you know, who go through a lot of judgment cycles in their previous lives end up becoming caregivers of these children, because now they can't judge anymore. Now they have to become extremely humble and non-judgmental to take care. And they are also, by the way, great souls, parents of these children, because they are also raising the awareness at a different level. You know, so this is a set of very evolved souls that have come together to raise the consciousness. So the whole problem is that we see only our life, our death, our brother died, our nephew died, our uncle died. What about going to the next level? What about going to the level of the ancestral lineage? What about deaths that are not explained? What about deaths in your ancestors that are done through suicide? What is the death pattern of your family? That's where we need to go.
Sure. You mentioned about suicide. I have this curiosity कि जो लोग यूथेनेशिया के लिए ऑप्ट करते हैं, राइट, या सुसाइड भी करने की कोशिश करते हैं, बिकॉज हमने हमेशा डेथ को एटलीस्ट कल्चरली जो हमने समझा है कि आपकी कार्मिक लेसन्स के हिसाब से आपका डेथ होता है, राइट, कि आपको कितना पेन मिलेगा या आप किस टाइम पे जाओगे, दैट्स ऑल बिन डिसाइडेड प्रीटी मच. उस केस में उस इंसान के कर्मा पे क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है? मतलब हैव दे टेकन देयर लेसन्स एंड देन ऑप्टिंग फॉर यूथेनेशिया इज गुड, एंड आल्सो जो वो इंसान असिस्ट कर रहा है उस असिस्टेंट किलिंग में, उसके ऊपर उस चीज का क्या कार्मिक इम्पैक्ट क्या पड़ता है?
जो इंसान असिस्ट कर रहा है उसके ऊपर तो कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं है, बिकॉज उस इंसान ने परमिशन दी है. ओके, सो इफ यू आर माय केयर गिवर एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू दैट दिस इज व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, गो अहेड. सो आपके ऊपर कोई इफेक्ट नहीं है. मेरे ऊपर क्या इफेक्ट है ये मुझे डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा अपने स्पिरिट गाइड से बात करके, which is where again automatic writing becomes a great tool. Nobody knows the depth of karma. Nobody. Only God knows the depth of our karma. So are we increasing? Now, for example, somebody who's really in a bad state says that I would prefer to let go of it. It is a case of, in a way, suicide. In a nicer way, right? Suicide is never taken as very positively by the guides or by the universe, because they say that you've been given a life. You chose it. You chose the suffering. And now you want to, you know, it's like a child agreeing to giving the exam. In the middle of the exam, aborts it and says, nahi, samajh nahi aayi. Agli baar fir se dekhenge. So the teacher will be like, come on. We all decided that this is how it's going to be.
You prepared for it.
Yes. So that's my view. It's not the gospel truth, but this is my view. I have spoken to my guides many, many times over this. And this is the guidance that I have been given, that it is really finally the free will of a person. And ending one's life is akin to a suicide. The other thing that I want to say about suicide is that your guides are never going to give you permission for it. So which means you're interfering in your own karmic plan. You're sort of shortchanging, aborting it. So it's not seen as very positive. And these souls don't immediately take a birth. They go through a period of healing. Then they go through a period of understanding why they did it, accepting that it's their mistake, and then they do seva. So even on the spiritual plane, there is seva.
Oh, it's like a rehab. यहाँ से चले गए आपको समझ नहीं आए, you go to rehab, right? Wow.
So they do seva. Some of them become musicians. Some of them, end up doing food seva. Some of them become teachers. Some of them become students.
We are talking about this at a spiritual plane.
Yes.
Interesting.
And then once they accept, understand the extent of what they've done, because a human birth is done after so much of planning, that to abort it is like the guys are shocked. What are you doing? So many karmic people, things, experiences. We, made this matrix with so much of meticulousness, and this is what you've done just in one go, just because we gave you a weapon and you used it. But I would say one thing, that if people are, I'm not sure how it's going to be taken, but I really feel that people should tell their family members that don't put me on a ventilator. This is one of the biggest things, because whoever's on a ventilator and they go, including my own mom, are so unhappy about the time that they spend on the ventilator, because they are neither here nor there. And so, like, for example, I have told people that please ever, never, ever put me on one. And I think we should write it as a part of our medical bill, just like donating organs. That don't do that, because in the fond hope that they're going to come back. You're not even letting them go. You're taking their free will from them by forcing everything that medical science has to put someone on a ventilator. And this is, of course, a spiritual view only. And this is just only my view. But I have seen so many. And I can tell you, it's close to 300 souls that I've spoken to who've been on ventilator. And not one has told me
that they were happy.
That they were happy about it. And they tell me that, and I'm sure through this podcast, if anybody agrees with me, please tell your family members that don't put you through that last stage of suffering. It's better to go gracefully, because when we accept that death is not the end, then there is no hue and cry about leaving the body.
And then I think at least on last moments, they're able to spend it with their family. ICU, I feel, with all due respect, right? Like if you literally depart from this world in an ICU room, around machines, around doctors, with no loved one around you, without that last conversation, I think that is more traumatic, even for the person.
Those are the families that come to me. हम last message नहीं दे पाए, वो हमसे बात नहीं कर पाए, उनके गले में ट्यूब थी, वो कुछ कहना चाहते थे पर कह नहीं पाए. I'm sure 5% even in a normal case वो नहीं कह पाए होंगे, but 95% in this kind of a case, those messages are lost. That last connection is lost.
In fact, I wanted to ask you this. You actually raised a very valid point. कि ऐसे केसेस में, क्योंकि जाने से पहले लोगों को लगता है कि वो कुछ समझाना चाहते थे, वो कुछ कहना चाहते थे, मे बी उनका कुछ लास्ट विश बताना चाहते थे, और उसके बाद जब वो चले जाते हैं, फैमिली वाले गिल्ट में आ जाते हैं कि यार हम समझ नहीं पाए, क्या हमने गलती कर दी, वो कुछ उनका कहीं मन अटका हुआ था. How to process this for families who are left behind?
Yeah, see, the thing is that they should actually go to mediums. Mediums can talk to the souls. लेकिन यहाँ पे एक प्रॉब्लम है, and I'm glad we are having this conversation. जो इंसान जब हम जिंदा होते हैं, तो जैसा हम सोचते हैं, हम डेथ के बाद वैसा नहीं सोचते. So it's almost like talking to two people. The family will say कि वो ऐसा था, and the soul will say, हाँ ना, इससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? And I want to tell them, इनको बहुत फर्क पड़ रहा है, ये पैसे देके आए हैं. And then he'll say, नहीं, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा, इनको बोलो इस चीज का ध्यान रखें, इस चीज का ध्यान रखें. But they want to know कि वो जो आपकी FD थी, वो हम इसको दें कि इसको दें, मुन्नू को दें कि चुन्नू को दें. लेकिन आपको तो वो कहेगा चुन्नू को दें. वो कहेगा लेकिन चुन्नू तो आपको अच्छा नहीं लगता था, उसने तो आपका ख्याल नहीं रखा था, आपने तो कहा था उसके लिए कुछ नहीं छोड़ोगे. Then they'll question me. और द मीडियम, आप ठीक से देख रही है ना, ये यही सोल है कि नहीं? नहीं, ये यही सोल नहीं है. आप बताइए कि इसका पेट नेम क्या था या उसका पेट नेम क्या था. Where I totally lose it then. I said, listen, if you don't have faith, don't come. Don't test me on pet name क्या था, नहीं था. So I'll give you an example. There was a case that I channeled. The lady was in the US. She lost her husband to a very sudden cancer detect हुआ.
Okay.
He was 32, she was 30. Okay? उनका बच्चा 1 साल का था. And she was in grief. वो detect हुआ और within 1 month he died. They thought कि ठीक हो जाएगा, age is on the side, cancer भी इतना aggressive नहीं था. Anyway, she came to me for a medium through a common friend. Okay. And these were my early days of a medium. And तब मैं बहुत गिर जाती थी एक mediumship session करके, और मुझे लगता था मैं उनका ही रोना रोती रहती थी. It was difficult for me to, detach from the. So I spoke with her and she said कि ठीक है, तो मेरे husband की सोल आ गई. said आ गई. So she said कि okay, तो वो क्या कह रहे हैं? So I looked at the husband and he said that I'm really sorry I left so suddenly. जो भी उसने बातें बताई, उसने कहा हाँ. So she said that and he said to her that get married again. Oh, that lady totally almost assaulted me. She says, what are you saying? I said, I'm really sorry. Now I know कि अगर कोई ये बोल भी रहा होता है तो यहाँ नहीं बोलना. So I said, but then she said, no, you don't have my husband's. He was very possessive. अब वो लाइफ में possessive था ना. अब वो वहां पे तो greater good के लिए सोच रहा है, अपने बच्चे के लिए सोच रहा है. And she's saying आप किसी और सोल को लेके बैठ गए हो. So I was like, आप कोई और सोल हो? He says नहीं. So I said, अच्छा बताओ कैसे नहीं हो. So then he gave a song. I gave that song. So she was pacified. कि ठीक है, मतलब not really, this was not our song, but okay. And I'm telling him, you didn't know. He says, मुझे पता ही नहीं our song कौन सा था. Just like a typical man. Now what do I tell that lady? Now suddenly when people die, people glorify them. Suddenly everything becomes extremely important and everything. So then, by then I wanted to give up. So I said, nahi. So then she said, I'm very upset. So he's showing me a bouquet of flowers. So I said, he's giving you flowers. She stood up. She says, this is not my husband. You are a scam. You are this, you are that. And I was so heartbroken. I said, but why are you saying this? She says, because I'm allergic to flowers. I said, oh shit. So I looked at him. I said, why did you give flowers? He says, because I really always wanted to give her flowers. So I said, listen, I'm done with both of you. I said, listen, I'll write a check. You please, early days, huh? I will write a check. You can take your money back. And I told that guy, I said, I don't want to talk to you again. So he says, no, wait, I'll make it better. तब तक तो वो जा चुकी थी. ठीक है? And I said, मैं ऐसे ही फंस गई इसके बीच में. Not so much of money also, and I really got caught in a crossfire. So I told my guide, this is not a good thing you've done to me, and I'm not going to do mediumship anymore. So they said, okay, we'll make it better. I said, how? So the next day, after 24 hours, the lady messages me and she says, I'm so sorry. I said, what? She said, I'm really very sorry. The flowers were from my husband. I said, how do you know? She showed me 7 or 8 people who were her friends, who gave her the message that this man came in our dreams and he was giving you flowers. And she said, I'm so sorry. I'm getting goose flesh as I'm saying this, literally. And she said, I'm so sorry I doubted you. I said, no, but it's fine. I will not do your session again. She says, but I have a few more questions. I said, no. And then she again went into, what does he call our son? I said, you've started again. She said, no, okay. Then she did ask a few questions and then she said, uske laptop ka password mere se kho gaya hai. So the guy said, I'm not going to give it. Now, again, so what happens? A medium is already in a tight place. Okay? First of all, it's a very thankless job. Second of all, people have to understand that what people are in this life, they are not in afterlife. You know what they are interested in talking about? They want me to know their life, how they were from childhood. If you read some of my blogs on mediumship, ladies want to talk about how mediocre their life had become at the age of 60 when they went. And how many dreams did they have? They want to talk about their life. हमारे ऐसे ड्रीम्स थे, फिर हमारी ऐसी शादी हो गई, शादी के बाद हम कुछ कर नहीं पाए. वो मुझे ये स्टोरी सुना रहे हैं और ये पूछ रहे हैं कि गुप्ता आंटी के लिए हम कौन सी रेसिपी देते थे, ये बताओ। उसको इसमें कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। वो कह रहे नहीं हमारी तो मदर इन लॉ बहुत सोशल थी जी, वो तो ऐसे करती थी। अब वो कैसे नहीं बता रही। उस लेडी को अपनी लाइफ को देख के ये लग रहा है कि मैंने एक प्ले किया, अब उस लाइफ में वो प्ले कितना अच्छा था, मेरे क्या रिग्रेट्स हैं, मुझे कैसे जन्म लेना चाहिए अगर मैं ऐसे। सो दे आर नाउ इन अनदर फ्रेम, द फैमिली इज इन सम अदर फ्रेम। ब्लैक गाड़ी लेंगे, रेड गाड़ी ले, you know, now there's a, it's very difficult for a medium actually to bridge both these things. So it's not about trust. If you don't have trust, don't go to a medium. But these are not day to day, minute to minute, second to second messages that they will behave like that only. They are in some other world now. They want to do bigger things. No, my father was always very angry, but he says that I'm so sad that I was angry. I was so angry I could not forgive my son-in-law. मुझे दुख होता है, प्लीज मेरे बच्चों को बोलो कि एंगर छोड़ दें, राइटियसनेस छोड़ दें, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, माफ कर दें सबको। वो कह रही है ये सोल ही मेरे फादर की नहीं, because the personality he had when he was here, he was a righteous man. We are not able to see it in a different space. We have to understand that everything. What does quantum physics say? Quantum physics says that every particle can exist in more than one state. It depends upon the observer and how the particle is observed. So the light can be a particle and light can be a wave. Similarly, a soul can be 3D doing the daily things that he's doing. That's one part of his personality. That's not the whole soul. If you are a person who has deep attachments, there is a part of you that can learn detachment or is already detached. If you are an angry person, you also are a soft person. But just because I know you as an angry person, I cannot deny that there's a soft side of you as well. So ये हमारी बहुत, जैसे घोड़े को वो लगा देते हैं, इस टाइप की सोच है।
So typically it's actually the families who want to know. Soul को अगर कुछ कहना हो तो कहते हैं ना कि वो 13 दिन में आके वो आपको कोई ना कोई मैसेज दे जाते हैं. If there's actually a message that they want to communicate.
No, sometimes souls want to communicate.
Yeah.
And then when they come, I tell them, get your families. Then the families say कि हमने आपका podcast पता नहीं कैसे suddenly देख लिया. So I tell them ये suddenly नहीं है, किसी ने बहुत मेहनत करी है. So, but I have had the other way around. Souls connecting families to a medium. Medium could be anybody. Sometimes they do want to say something before they die.
Sure. You spoke about organ donation also, right? I wanted to understand कि spiritually, because बहुत अच्छी deed है कि अगर किसी के लिए हमारे organs काम आ सकते हैं, great, right? But spiritually, how does it play out? Also for the person जिन्होंने उनके organs लिए हैं, right? Because
Beautiful
I'm sure
question.
कुछ तो energy imprint रहा होगा उन organs पे भी. How does it play out for that person also?
Beautiful question. Nobody's ever asked me, so I'm glad you're asking me. Spiritually, it is one of the best things that you can do by donating your organs. You transcend at least 5 lifetimes.
Wow.
You can shortcut 5 lifetimes if you give even one organ. So imagine multiplied by 2, 3, 4, आपकी उतनी lifetimes कम हो जाएंगी. That's how important organ donation is. It's seen as one of the hugest and most divine sacrifices that a soul makes.
Wow.
So all yes for organ donation. How does it impact the person who takes that organ? Well, every cell has a memory. So people who have had heart transplants from people who were junkies will suddenly start liking McDonald's, where they were just not a McDonald's fan. They would just say, "Badi craving ho rahi hai," and stuff like that. So yes, organs have memories. And I believe at a spiritual level that when you donate an organ and a person receives that organ, unless the soul DNA matches, there's always a chance of rejection. For example, if an organ of a very low vibrating person, like someone who's choosing to do crime, notice I'm not saying criminal because it's not a noun, it's a choice people are making. So if you are taking on an organ of someone who's choosing crime, who's choosing deceit, lies, abuse, and you yourself are a very spiritual person, your body will reject it. It cannot coexist. So rejections are not only physiological, they are emotional and spiritual as well.
I'm sure no one has heard this before also, but that's great. Okay. हमारे मोमेंट ऑफ डेथ का, जब हमारी डेथ होती है, उसका कोई भी कनेक्शन है हमारे स्पिरिचुअल प्रोग्रेशन या हमारे कामिक एक्यूमुलेशन के साथ? फॉर एग्जाम्पल कुछ जैसे कहते हैं ना कि अरे उनकी डेथ एकादशी पे हो गई, या फिर राहु काल में हो गई, या दिवाली पे. Is there any connection between your time of death and...
Yeah. The time of death, the place of death is very closely linked to the state in which we are leaving the body.
Okay.
So if we are leaving it on a Ekadashi or a good day, that means that we are living in a state that we have sort of made peace with the life we've lived. Look, people are not unpeaceful about death. They are actually in distress about the life that they have led or not led. The opportunities that they have missed. That is the sad part. So yes, कुछ ऐसे times होते हैं दिन के जिसमें अगर आपकी डेथ हो तो they say that आप प्रेत योनि में जाने के ज्यादा chances होते हैं. And that is why I feel that the rituals of death, and that is why we shouldn't be dying in ICUs. The rituals of death, keeping the tulsi on the tongue and the chanting of the Bhagavad Gita, the playing of the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahamrityunjayas, people holding the hands, giving space, from the feet, the soul to be released and all that, play a large role in negating the negative effects of the time that a soul is passing in. But yes, it has something to do. For example, someone who's murdered or has been going through a heinous crime, उसका placement of planets बहुत ही खराब होगा उस time पे. So वो जिस दशा में गया है उसी दशा में वापस जाएगा. So yeah.
Right after death, right? Soul अपने उसका spiritual state क्या होता है? Is it regret? Is it peace? Is it what? Is it realization?
No.
Or is it limbo?
The moment the soul leaves the body, there's a lot of peace. First of all, the body is a very constricting. आपको किसी बहुत tight जूता पहना दिया है और बहुत टाइम से आप पहन के रख रहे हो, आपके सोर्स भी हैं, आपका सब कुछ है, जूता बहुत टाइट है, वैसी हमारी बॉडी होती है.
So we feel a lot of discomfort. So it's peace.
Yeah. So the first thing is peace, immense peace. The second thing is the extreme joy, because you feel you're finally going home. जैसे स्कूल की छुट्टी होती है और आपको लगता है अब हम घर जाएंगे, रिलैक्स करेंगे. So everyone, I have had a near-death experience myself. There's a sense of, wow, let's go. It's like that.
Yeah.
And then, you're sort of met by your guides, etc. There are souls that die in so much of attachment that they are not willing to leave. So even when guides come for them, ancestors come for them, they are not willing to leave because they feel कि इन लोगों का मेरे बिना नहीं चलेगा, ना मेरा बिजनेस चलेगा, मेरा घर नहीं चलेगा. कहीं मदर्स की जब अचानक से डेथ हो जाती है, उनके बच्चे बहुत छोटे होते हैं, उनको लगता है इनको कौन देखेगा. So even in this form, I would like to take care of them.
So ऐसा भी होता है कि जो स्पिरिट्स होती है वो लिम्बो में चली जाती हैं, that होता है, and then वहां से फिर how do they realize that it's time for them to move on?
Sometimes they don't. They are when I talk to souls, they come to me, and there was a soul who came to me when I was in my office, and she said, मुझे बचा लीजिए, मेरा बेटा हॉस्पिटल में, उसको बचा लीजिए और मुझे बचा लीजिए. And something told me that she doesn't even know what the time is. So I said, हम 2022 में हैं. She says, कैसे हो सकता है, आप कैसी अजीब सी बातें कर रहे हो, चलो मेरे साथ हॉस्पिटल, चलो गांधीनगर, चलो मेरे साथ हॉस्पिटल. And I looked at her clothes and I said, आप समझ रहे हो कि ये कौन सा साल है, ये वो साल है, नहीं मेरे बेटे को बचाया. And then she was suddenly very puzzled. She says, what are you saying? I said, हाँ. She says, नहीं, अभी तो 1982 ही है, आप ऐसे ही मेरे साथ ये करते, 1982 से स्टक है और हेल्प मांग रही है लोगों से, because mediums can hear souls. तो वो मेरे बेटे को बचा लो, वो गांधीनगर में है, मेरे बेटे को. So she ran out of the hospital looking for help and she was crushed by a lorry. Shit. अब वो बेटे की सोल भी रिलीज नहीं हुई है.
For 40 years, 40 odd years.
Sometimes hundreds of years.
So then how, what can families do in such cases? Can family do anything to ensure that they move over peacefully?
Families can find out where the soul is through a mediumship session. Okay. And if they feel that the soul is trapped, then the soul has to decide. Then the medium will do a clearance of the soul. That's a separate thing. Okay. that please liberate the soul. But it's finally the soul's choice. The soul may say, मुझे नहीं जाना.
And it'll remain
And
like
it'll
this.
remain like that. See, in the entire game, please understand it is our conscious choice that is very important.
Mm.
But when I told that lady, then she said nahi, 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 and then she came to me after a few days. She says, हाँ ऐसा लग तो रहा है. ऐसे जाओ ना किसी के कैलेंडर पे देखो, डेस्क कैलेंडर देखो, सब कुछ देखो. She says, वो क्या होता है? और ये डब्बों के साथ आप सामने क्यों बैठे हो? Didn't recognize PCs and laptops. And so when I told her कि आपका बेटा भी नहीं है, then she got even more angry. Then she became really agitated. And I told her, इतने agitate हो गए तो आपको एक तांत्रिक पकड़ लेगा. फिर आप क्या करोगे? अपने बेटे से कैसे मिलोगे? So she says, हाँ मुझे मिलना है. ऐसे कहाँ है फिर आपका बेटा? She says, पता नहीं. Then I found out from her, child was trapped for some time but had taken another birth. So she says, can I go to him? I said, yes, the only way is to go to light and from there plan with your masters. Then she agreed to go.
How do souls look like? आपने बहुत
Pretty much like what they look like in real life.
Really?
There's so many times I go into a washroom and I think बहुत ही crowded है. And then बहुत ही ध्यान से देखने के बाद लगता है यहाँ 2 इंसान हैं और बाकी सारे souls हैं.
So ये जितना horror movies में है
नहीं, they do come in that form also. Of course, horror movies exaggerate it. They do come in that form also. But very early on, I told my guides, if you want me to do this work, you can't do this to me. किसी के यहाँ से खून निकल रहा है, किसी का हाथ में कटा हुआ है, ऐसे ये सब नहीं हो सकता भाई. Normal, please. और नहीं तो मत दिखाओ. फिर ऐसे एक डिम सी शैडो दिखती है, जैसे ऐसे हम आंखें बंद करके मूवी देखते हैं तो थोड़ा ऐसे सा दिखता है. So that's what I've done. Otherwise, you come to me normally. So there's a friend of mine who lost her mother, and just 2 days before Diwali. So after my Diwali party, and I was washing my face, and I came just to sleep. Suddenly, this woman is there at my dresser. I was like, what? And I knew her because I was treating her. So I said, what? She said, I've passed over. I said, yeah, but you can't come to my bedroom like this just because you passed over. She said, but I want to talk to you. I said, in office hours. So she said, yeah. So I have office hours for spirits, by the way. Yeah, and my students also do. Yeah.
And they bite to it. The
they come in a line. They actually come in a line. And if you forget the office hours for some days because, the natural people here have too much of demands on your time, then you'll see them outside your windows, your balconies. You'll just gather.
अब कल्चर पे आते थोड़े हमारे जो कल्चरल सिग्निफिकेंसेस हैं when it comes to death, right? जैसे कहा जाता है या कहा जाता था, मुझे ऐसा कहना चाहिए कि बेटियों से मुखाग्नि या दाह संस्कार नहीं कराते, राइट? लेकिन जिस टाइप का लाइफस्टाइल है आजकल, जो लाइव्स हम जी रहे हैं, अब लड़कियां करती हैं also owing to women empowerment and everything. मुझे समझना चाहती थी कि किस हद तक सही है स्पिरिचुअली. मुझे लगता है स्पिरिचुअली तो सब कुछ लाइक यू सेड कुछ सही गलत नहीं होता, बट आई एम श्योर अगर वो स्क्रिप्चर्स में वो रिचुअल्स बनाए गए हैं, मैं ऐसा मानती हूँ कि उसके पीछे भी बहुत साइंस है. सो डज इट हैव एनी सच सॉर्ट ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंस? एंड व्हेन यू आंसर दैट आई आल्सो वांट टू नो, जैसे बहुत सारे लोग कहते हैं ना कि बेटे स्वर्ग का द्वार होते हैं, राइट? और वहां पे मेरी एक ऑब्जर्वेशन है, बहुत रैंडमली आई थी ऑनेस्टली. मेरे जब अभी लव्ड वन व्हेन ही पास्ड अवे, लिटरली वहां पे जब मेरा भाई उन्हें मुखाग्नि दे रहा था, वहां मुझे स्ट्राइक किया कि हम इतना क्यों इस चीज को हवा बना रखा है कि लोग कहते हैं लड़के स्वर्ग का द्वार होते हैं. Because if a woman is a channel and she's a portal from getting you from that dimension to this, and if God believes in fair play and believes in masculine and feminine energies are equal, तो शायद वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एक मैस्कुलिन एनर्जी को दिए कि इस डायमेंशन से उस डायमेंशन ले जाने की जिम्मेदारी आपकी है. ऐसा अचानक से मुझे ये फ्लैश आया. बट मैं आपसे समझना चाहती हूँ दैट हाउ डज इट प्ले आउट, लाइक क्या लड़कियां कर सकती हैं, इसका क्या कोई साइंटिफिक या स्पिरिचुअल सिग्निफिकेंस है? लड़कों को ही क्यों कहा जाता है कि बेटे स्वर्ग का द्वार होते हैं?
You're asking a person who is not very into rituals. Okay. Although I am into rituals, but and rituals have a significance. Having said that, I think it's important to be more spiritual than religious. And जैसे आपने कहा कि ladies उस द्वार से इस द्वार पे लाती हैं और men. This is a good interpretation. I feel that there are two reasons. ये तो नहीं मुझे पता कि स्वर्ग का द्वार क्यों है. This comes from a patriarchal society. And rituals भगवान ने नहीं बनाए. Rituals और हमारे जो पुराण हैं वो इंसान ने लिखे. और तब की सोसाइटी को मद्देनजर रख के लिखे गए हैं। तब हम सबके पास इतनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हर एक के पास नहीं होती थी. Women were not managing houses and religious functions and families. पहले लोग कहते थे ऑफिस और घर, मैं कहती हूँ ऑफिस, घर और एक धर्म. आजकल आपको पता है एक रिचुअल करने में कितना टाइम लगता है. पहले वो सारे बर्तन सजाओ, फिर वो सारे प्रसाद बनाओ, फिर वो सारा उठाओ और फिर अगले दिन फिर लगाओ. So it's in itself a very time consuming thing. So they had their own significance. However, I think adaptation is very important, especially in places where God is not making a difference between feminine and masculine. Right? Which is why the whole advert of, the rise of Shakti and the divine feminine. So, ऐसा मैं नहीं मानती कि बेटियां मुखाग्नि नहीं दे सकती. मैं नहीं मानती. Having said that, दो और चीजें हैं जो बड़ी important है from an entity perspective. Sure. Women in the cremation ground, with the kind of soft auras that they have, are more liable to catch entities than men.
Okay, that makes sense.
They could be pregnant, they could be menstruating, their hair could be open, they could attract. They are far more attractive and channels of attracting the lower energies. Their auras are softer, they are sensitive, they could be unwell, they could be taking care of someone who's unwell. When someone passes over, we are already in a state of compromise, emotional compromise. We are sad, we are in grief. Men handle it better than women, emotionally speaking. Doesn't mean women don't handle it. So for all the ladies watching, don't get me wrong. Having said that, you're in a softer space. Secondly, you are in a space where you are handling it emotionally and someone's handling it physically. तो ये दो अलग अलग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज है. एक फिजिकली कर रहा है, लकड़ी रख रहा है, मुखाग्नि दे रहा है, और एक इमोशनली कर रहा है. तीसरी चीज, हम ये क्यों सोचें कि जो मुखाग्नि है वहीं से एक पोर्टल है आगे जाने का. इमोशनली everyone who's standing around that is feeling that their hearts have been broken open with grief for that person to just be released through them. Mukhagni is not the only place through which a soul will go.
How beautiful is that?
So if we look at it emotionally and spiritually, it's our hearts that actually burst open with grief through which a person passes over.
So beautiful.
तो पोर्टल हम उसको क्यों सोचें? पोर्टल हम इसको सोचें, वो एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है.
Sure.
At the entity point, I would tell people to be careful of that.
But that made so much of sense because typically इस चीज को इसी तरह से brush off कर दिया जाता है कि अच्छा लड़की है तो इसलिए, लेकिन क्यों नहीं जाना ये तो बताओ. I think a lot of women would now make a point out of it. Okay, so जब हम what do they say, वो जो skull break करते हैं, there's this word, right? कपाल क्रिया, right? जब कपाल क्रिया करते हैं, which is breaking the skull, या जब अस्थियों को गंगा में बहाया जाता है, what is the energetic significance or like the spiritual significance of doing that?
कपाल क्रिया का spiritual significance is that this is the last part of the body because वो बहुत टाइम लगता है स्कल को जलने में, So जब हम उसको तोड़ देते हैं, it becomes easier. That's the last part of, destroying or releasing the body. That's one. The second significance of that is that now leave. Right? So it's a letting go of sorts. And third, very important, again related to entities, is that the tantrics are going to catch it and do multiple things to it, including it, making it a खून की खोपड़ी and all of that. Doing all kinds of things. जब भी हम किसी शमशान में किसी स्कल के साथ तांत्रिक क्रिया करते हैं, तो ये तांत्रिक क्रिया केवल उस इंसान की सोल को नहीं बल्कि उसकी सारी फैमिलीज को डिस्ट्रॉय कर देती है. Therefore we have to be very careful and mindful. अब तो लोग छोड़ आते हैं. पहले तो जब तक वो चिता ठंडी नहीं हो जाती थी और ये सब कुछ हो नहीं जाता था, लोग रात भर वहां बैठते थे. And that is why now the तांत्रिक क्रिया का जो एक्सपोजर का डर है वो अभी भी है. हम वहां पे पैसे दे के लोग आ जाते हैं और कहते हैं कि आप देख लीजिएगा रात को ये ठीक से जल जाए. लेकिन उनको और भी तो कोई ज्यादा पैसे दे सकता है उन बोन्स को उठाने के लिए. एंड गंगा ऑफ कोर्स इज द रिवर ऑफ मोक्षा. तो ऐसा हम कहते हैं कि फिर अब आपको मोक्ष मिले, आप आगे बढ़े, एंड पीस मिले आपको एंड ऑल.
So in that case, cremation essential है, या अगर किसी को सिर्फ दफनाया गया है, वो भी आपके spiritual goals accomplish करने में help करता है?
ये तो ट्रेडिशनली डिपेंड करता है कि हम किस ट्रेडिशन को बिलोंग करते हैं, किस कल्चर को बिलोंग करते हैं. स्पिरिचुअलिटी की नजर से नीदर इज गुड और बैड. रिलीजन की नजर से ऑफ कोर्स इट्स अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट माइलस्टोन. So, but God does not differentiate between this. It's more spiritual, less religious. But I think everyone should stick to their own culture so that they don't have any doubt about where the soul has gone. And there should not be another point. And you know, these days when people say we do electric cremation, for example, wherever it's medically necessary, we should always go with what is safer for the planet, safer for the environment. अगर body में इतना disease है, सड़न है, infection के chances हैं, then it should be done in the way that, you know, medical science is saying. For example, COVID bodies. They would have only caused more death, you know, around them. And that is not a good thing. Having said that, astrology has a lot of association with how a person's last rites were done. तो बहुत कहते हैं कि अगर लकड़ी ठीक नहीं यूज हुई तो कोई ये प्लैनेट इफेक्ट होता है. अगर उनकी स्किन डिजीज थी और उनका वो गंगा जल नहीं दिया गया तो ये प्लैनेट इफेक्ट होता है. तो एस्ट्रोलॉजी में इसका बहुत महत्व है. तो अगर लोग एस्ट्रोलॉजी मानते हैं तो लास्ट राइट्स बहुत अच्छे से करने चाहिए, बहुत अच्छा सामान लेके करने चाहिए, बहुत अच्छी इंटेंशन के साथ करने चाहिए, और जैसे जैसे बताया गया है वैसे करना चाहिए. हमारे कल्चर में बहुत वैल्यू है, बहुत स्ट्रेंथ है. सो इफ पॉसिबल, एज मच एज पॉसिबल हमें करना चाहिए. लेकिन उसका जो फ्लिप साइड है, फिर वहम नहीं करना चाहिए.
क्यों? राइट. उन लोगों का क्या जो जिनकी बॉडीज नहीं मिलती, या लोग जो चले जाते हैं कि घर वालों को पता भी नहीं चलता if they're still alive or not, right? उनके केसेस में क्योंकि टेक्निकली हमारे यहाँ दाह संस्कार इसलिए करा जाता है, हम ये मानते हैं कि अब इसके बाद हमें मोक्ष मिल गया, राइट, या इनकी आफ्टर लाइफ इज गोइंग टू बी स्मूथ क्योंकि हमने सब क्रियाकर्म करके भेजा है. उन लोगों का क्या फिर?
उन लोगों का आगे काफी डिफिकल्ट ट्रांजिशन होता है. चाहे उनकी डेथ हो जाए, एनिमल्स खा जाए, या उनकी एक्सीडेंट में डेथ हो जाए, या उनका कोई हीनियस क्राइम से उनकी डेथ हो जाए. नेचुरल कॉजेस तो बहुत ही कम होती है. इस केस में उनकी जो आफ्टर लाइफ होती है वो काफी क्वेश्चन में आ जाती है. और फिर जो है फैमिलीज बहुत सारे सालों तक जैसे महाकाल में जाकर, या जहां भी उनके कुल देवता है वहां जाकर, या क्योंकि महाकाल अकाल मृत्यु के देवता हैं और वो उनके अधीन है काल, या माँ काली घाट में जाकर आप इनकी पूजा करवा सकते हैं. लेकिन लोग क्या सोचते हैं, हम गए, हम गया गए, या हम यहाँ गए, हमने एक बार कराया हो गया. ऐसा नहीं है. सबसे पहले तो ये पता लगाना बहुत जरूरी है कि उनके साथ ऐसा हुआ क्यों. किसी कर्स की वजह से हुआ, किसी एंसेस्ट्रल प्रॉब्लम की वजह से हुआ. आप ये याद रखिए कि अगर कोई इंसान गुमशुदा हो जाता है या पता नहीं चल पाता, उसका इफेक्ट बिजनेस के ऊपर, कर्सेस के ऊपर, फैमिली के हेल्थ के ऊपर, ब्लैक मैजिक के ऊपर आएगा ही आएगा. क्योंकि अगर कोई लावारिस लाश है फॉर एग्जाम्पल, उसका तो कोई भी तांत्रिक यूज कर सकते हैं. ये लोग ढूंढ रहे होते हैं. तो इसका काफी एक मेटिकुलस और लंबा प्रोसेस होता है इसकी शांति का, एक ही बार में नहीं होती. तो वो 1 से 1.5 साल 2 श्राद्ध को कवर करते हैं. 2 श्राद्ध के सीजन, तो हर साल श्राद्ध आता है, 2 श्राद्ध के सीजन को कवर करके 3rd श्राद्ध से कहते हैं कि नाउ योर फैमिली इज मुक्त.
ओके. पहले बरसी हम साल में एक बार करते थे, राइट. आजकल लोग 7 भी कर देते हैं, या पहले वो जो 13 दिन का प्रोसेस था वो भी लोग आजकल एक ही दिन में कट शॉर्ट कर देते हैं. So does it have any, again, kind of significance?
100%.
Does it cut short something?
Cut shorts, definitely. Cut shorts your emotional well-being. देखिए, सारी इमोशंस, हम यहाँ पे आए हैं और हमारे एक इमोशनल बॉडी होती है. सारी इमोशंस फील करना जरूरी है. जब किसी की डेथ हो जाती है और हम कहते हैं कि आप ग्रीफ में ना जाएं, कोई बात नहीं, रिमेन स्ट्रॉन्ग, इट्स ओके, भगवान की मर्जी थी. बट इट्स नॉट ओके. यू मे हैव लिव्ड विद दैट पर्सन फॉर मेनी इयर्स, यू मे हैव लिव्ड विद दैट पर्सन, they may have helped you in your bad times. There was an association. जब हम किसी भी चीज को कट शॉर्ट करते हैं तो हम अपने ह्यूमन एक्सपीरियंस को कट शॉर्ट कर रहे हैं, राइट. ह्यूमन एक्सपीरियंस ग्रीफ को फील करता है, एंगर, सैडनेस, फ्रस्ट्रेशन, स्ट्रगल्स. क्या आप मान सकते हैं कि एक बच्चा 2 साल की उम्र में ना चल के 2 दिन का ही बच्चा चलने लग जाए? नहीं. He has to experience those struggles, ना. That is part of learning. So this is part of soul learning. जब हम ऐसे एक्सपीरियंसेस को कट शॉर्ट करते हैं तो एक तो बहुत ज्यादा मेंटल इश्यूज आते हैं for the person who are left behind.
Okay.
इमोशनल इश्यूज आते हैं, हार्ट इश्यूज आते हैं, हार्ट चक्र आपका इफेक्ट होता है क्योंकि भरा हुआ है ग्रीफ यहाँ पे। लेकिन आप अपनी डे टू डे लाइफ को जल्दी करने के चक्कर में, मेरी मीटिंग्स है, मेरा कैलेंडर फुल है, करने के लिए बैठ के उसको एक्सपीरियंस ही नहीं कर रहे, तो वो कहाँ जाएगा? आपके हार्ट चक्र को कॉन्स्ट्रिक्ट कर देगा। दिमाग भी चलता रहता है, आपको माइग्रेन्स होने लग जाएंगे, हार्ट इश्यूज होने लग जाएंगे। आपको कहीं ना कहीं ये भी लगने लग जाएगा कि जब आपके साथ ऐसा होगा तो भी लोग आपको याद नहीं रखेंगे। सो दैट गिव्स वे टू फियर एज वेल एंड गिल्ट। ये पीरियड एक इतना इंटेंस और इम्पोर्टेंट पीरियड है। जब भी हम किसी चीज को लेट गो करते हैं, अगर आप कंप्यूटर को भी स्विच ऑफ करेंगे, इट टेक्स टाइम फॉर द प्रोसेसर टू,
That's true.
death also they say happens in a second. Actually it doesn't. It takes time for the body's organs one by one to die, for the soul to be released. Death की भी process ये है कि soul भी यहाँ पे 13 दिन रहती है। वो भी एक आफ्टर वर्ल्ड में जाने से पहले अपनी सब चीजों को लिव करके देखना चाहती है कि अच्छा मैं यहाँ रहता था, ये एक्सपीरियंस था, ये मेरे फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं। अब वो क्या देख रहा है कि आपके पास टाइम ही नहीं है, उसके मरने के बाद भी टाइम नहीं है, राइट? चाहे वो डिवोर्स हो, चाहे वो डेथ हो, चाहे वो किसी भी टाइप का सेपरेशन हो, द ह्यूमन बॉडी नीड्स टाइम, द ह्यूमन माइंड नीड्स टाइम टू कम आउट ऑफ दोज मिजरीज, दोज एक्सपीरियंसेस. People have sudden faintings, people have sudden onset of diseases when this time is cut short.
And so for this all is for people who are left behind, like their loved ones.
They're left behind. See, for the journey of the soul, I know that the Garud Puran says it differently, but the soul is liberated unless the soul chooses to stay back, right? In those 13 days, the soul is definitely trying. तो हम कहते हैं कि उसका सारा सामान आप दे दो ताकि उसको बार बार एसोसिएशन घर के साथ ना हो जाए, उसकी अटैचमेंट ना बढ़ जाए, उसको ना लगे कि मैं इसी बेड पे आके सो जाऊं या मैं यही चप्पल पहन लूं, स्पेशली द इंटीमेट ऑब्जेक्ट्स. बट सोल फिर भी मूव ऑन कर जाता है. लेकिन जो घर वाले होते हैं, हम अपने रिश्तों को ही अच्छे से नहीं निभा रहे. वी आर ग्रीविंग, है ना, सूतक होता है, सब कुछ होता है. एक तरीके का प्रोसेस होता है फॉर द बॉडी and the mind to let go of those experiences and to move forward. The only thing I would like to add over here is that spirituality में जितना हम उनके बारे में उन 13 दिनों में रोते हैं, क्यों ना हम उन 13 दिनों में उनकी accomplishments, उनकी खुशियों के बारे में भी बात करें.
Does it impact? ये बहुत आपने सही क्वेश्चन बहुत पॉइंट रेज किया कि एक है कि हम ग्रीव करके उन्हें याद कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वहीं एक और फैमिली है जो मे बी they're celebrating his life. How does it impact the soul?
Nothing. Soul is fine.
Soul is fine.
Soul is fine. How does it impact the people who are left?
Right. A lot of people I've seen कि जिन्होंने अपने loved one को खोया है, वो उनके कपड़े अपने साथ रखते हैं. They would be like, I don't want to depart with this. मैं पहनूंगा या मैं पहनूंगी. Again, any attachment that they are still entangling the soul with them?
See, whenever I look at my wardrobe and I think कि मेरी सारी साड़ियाँ कहाँ जाएंगी, the attachment. But people would like to keep something of their mom or people that they are close to. Ideally, we should not. Okay. But even if you have to, don't keep a metal item. Now you'll say jewelry है, gold है, क्या करें फिर इसका? फिर उसको आप लॉकर में रखें 1 साल के लिए, निकालें, गंगा जी से, या गंगा जल तो मेरे को लगता है थोड़ा एडल्ट्रेटेड होता है, गंगा जी के पास लेके जाएं, उसको गंगा जी से धोएं, इम्प्रिंट्स निकालें, बोलें कि सिर्फ आशीर्वाद ही रहे, ब्लेसिंग्स ही रहें, फिर उसको आप यूज कर सकते हो. बट उसको भी डिटैच होने का टाइम, मेटल में भी एनर्जी एक टाइम तक रहती है. दैट इज व्हाई वी चार्ज थिंग्स अगेन एंड अगेन, राइट? सो ब्लेसिंग्स रहें. आपको रखना है तो एक आध कपड़ा रख लीजिए, बट इंटीमेट थिंग्स, लोग कप्स रख लेते हैं, मोबाइल फोन्स रख लेते हैं, दोज आर वेरी रेडिएशन बेस्ड थिंग्स, उनकी थाली, उनका. देखिए, पुराने जमाने में जब लोगों को पता होता था कि मुझे मरना है, वो एक कुटिया में चले जाते थे अपनी बेसिक चीजें लेके, थाली, चम्मच, ग्लास, लुंगी और अपना एक चटाई. और जब वो मरते थे ना, तो उस कुटिया को ही आग लगा दिया जाता था. So there was nothing that they were very close to that was kept.
And they can come back to even as attachment.
And in a way then it's gone, that kind of a thing.
वो जो 13 दिन होते हैं, उसमें जैसे आपने कहा कि सोल तो लिबरेट हो गई, तो हम कह रहे हैं कि ऐसा कोई पड़ाव नहीं है उस बात की जर्नी में जहाँ मे बी फैमिली कैन डू समथिंग, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि क्या हम एज फैमिली कुछ कर सकते हैं ताकि उनकी आफ्टर जर्नी बहुत अच्छी रहे, राइट? अगर कुछ भी उनको ट्रबल कर रहा है या कहीं वो नहीं मूव ऑन कर पा रहे हैं, तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं उन 13 दिनों में कि उनका आगे का जर्नी स्मूथ रहे? इज देयर एनीथिंग दैट
पहले तो आपको जो भी करना है उन 13 दिनों में नहीं करना।
अच्छा,
हाँ,
okay.
उसके बाद अगर आप चेक कराना चाहते हैं आफ्टर अ
Sure.
मंथ की सोल अटक तो नहीं गई, चली गई है ना,
Right.
और लोगों को ये लगता है कि अगर हमने सोल को रिलीज कर दिया, हमने गंगा जी में एशेस बहा दिए तो फिर हो ही गया होगा, बट दैट्स नॉट ट्रू बिकॉज इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द सोल्स चॉइस, राइट? सो आप चेक करें कि हुआ है रिलीज की नहीं हुआ, कहीं किसी ने कुछ उनकी जर्नी रोक तो नहीं दी, और फिर आप उसको रिलीज करवाएं अगर नहीं हुआ तो। सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट द सोल विल चूज। कोई ऐसा रिचुअल नहीं है बियॉन्ड अ पॉइंट जो आपको करना है और तभी जो चीज है वो आगे बढ़ेगी, ऐसा नहीं है। फैमिली को मैंने सोल से बहुत बार पूछा है that what makes you happy on the other side. They say that when we see our family living very happily, जब वो रोते हैं तो हमें अच्छा नहीं लगता, तो फिर मैं उनको कहती हूँ लेकिन रोएंगे तो सही अभी टाइम। सो वो जो 13 दिन होते हैं ना, उसमें आप अच्छे से अपने ग्रीफ को निकाल लीजिए, क्योंकि ग्रीफ लीड्स टू एक्सेप्टेंस, एक्सेप्टेंस लीड्स टू सरेंडर टू द हायर पावर।
तो उस हिसाब से जैसे आप बोलते हो कि सोल तो उस हाई डायमेंशन में जा चुका है जहाँ पे इट्स ऑल लव एंड इट्स ऑल पीस, तो अगर कोई ऐसे भी इंसान रहे होंगे कि जिन्होंने अपनी लाइफ में किसी को शायद माफ ना करा हो या उसको लेके बहुत ग्रज हो, बट आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि डेथ के बाद दैट पर्सन हैज फॉरगिवन। No, souls don't forgive.
No, many times they don't. Souls don't become God. They continue to retain their character and whatever because they have to also get born again.
Okay.
They haven't become spirit guides after moksha, right? They are still pretty much, but they have a bigger realization.
तो क्या वो ना forgive करना भी उनकी जर्नी को impact कर सकता है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल. Then they are born in lower vibrational families.
So again, can family facilitate any kind of this such forgiveness? No, ये सब soul का choice है. Again, I think वो भी उनके soul purpose में आए.
लेकिन अगर आपकी फैमिली में कोई dispute चल रहा है, अगर आपकी फैमिली में ऑलरेडी कोई बहुत सारी चीजें चल रही हैं, तो जब एक इंसान चला जाता है तो बाकी लोग forgiveness शुरू करें in their current situation. That can facilitate the journey of the soul.
Got it. Makes sense. तो उस हिसाब से जैसे बोलते हैं कि पितृदोष है, राइट? मतलब वो वही एंसेस्टर्स हैं जो कहीं ना कहीं कोई ना किसी एंटेंगलमेंट में अटके हुए हैं किसी इमोशन को लेके।
बिल्कुल।
So that is real.
That is real. And therefore when people say हम पितृदोष की पूजा कराएं, मैं कहती हूँ पूजा कराओ, लेकिन उससे भी ज्यादा जरूरी है कि वो ब्लॉक है क्या, उसको समझो और डिसॉल्व करो।
And for example,
अगर ancestral dispute है प्रॉपर्टी को लेके,
okay.
सब लोग अपने अपने पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू को लेके बैठ गए और पावर स्ट्रगल है। सी प्रॉपर्टी को के जो डिसीजंस होते हैं वो सिर्फ पैसे के स्ट्रगल्स नहीं होते, वो पावर के स्ट्रगल्स होते हैं। कौन ज्यादा पावरफुल होगा, यू नो, किस भाई की बात मानी जाएगी। अब इसके बीच में सपोज कोई मर गया, राइट? अब आप कह रहे हो कि पितृदोष भी आज चला आ रहा है, या चलो नहीं भी मरा, पितृदोष है, एंसेस्ट्रल कर्स है आपके ऊपर, आप उसका क्लियरिंग और पूजा करा के समाधान नहीं कर सकते हो, क्योंकि पूजा तो सारी दुनिया ने करा ली है,
राइट?
बट जब तक वो 4 लोग 5 लोग एक फैमिली आकाशिक में नहीं बैठेंगे और अपने इश्यूज को रिजॉल्व नहीं करेंगे, डिसाइड नहीं करेंगे, डीकोड नहीं करेंगे और एक दूसरे को माफ नहीं करेंगे और डिसाइड नहीं करेंगे कि ठीक है चलो व्हाटएवर द डिसीजन में भी 5 में डिवाइड कर लेते हैं, नहीं करते, व्हाटएवर, एमिकेबली कम टू द टेबल, तो वो तो वैसे ही रहेंगे ब्लॉक्ड। उनके पहले वाले भी ब्लॉक थे। अब प्रॉब्लम उनके बच्चों पे भी आ जाएगी। आप अपने बच्चों को बेस्ट यूनिवर्सिटीज भेजते हैं, बेस्ट स्कूल्स भेजते हैं, लेकिन क्या आप अपने बच्चों के एंसेस्ट्रल ब्लॉक्स को रिमूव करने के लिए, अपनी ईगो को डाउन करने के लिए तैयार हैं? नहीं मैम ये सब मत बताओ, ये बताओ कि जल्दी जल्दी पैसे ले लो और ठीक कर दो। कोई चीज ऐसे नहीं ठीक होती। ह्यूमन ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इज अ ह्यूज प्रोसेस ऑफ शिफ्ट।
So when I hear you, what I realize is कि हम सब एक दूसरे से इतने deeply connected हैं,
interconnected हैं,
कि किसी एक के भी जाने के बाद it is like a responsibility on the family to see कि हम कहाँ अपनी entanglement जोड़ रहे हैं.
Correct.
That could be good or that can be bad.
Yes.
How can we all heal that?
It's a responsibility. You use the right word. It's a responsibility. लेकिन अगर आप ये किसी को कह के देख लीजिए, वो कहेंगे नहीं जी, जहाँ जाके पूजा करानी है बता दीजिए, जितने पैसे देने हैं बता दीजिए, इनके साथ तो नहीं निभा सकते, ये ऐसे हैं, इन्होंने ऐसा किया, एंड देन द होल थिंग स्टार्ट्स।
सो किसी को भी, किसी जिनके गुजर गए, उनको कैसे पता चले कि हमारे लव वन को मोक्ष मिल गया है? ये बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन।
पहली बात तो मोक्ष 0.0000001% को भी नहीं मिल सकता।
वाओ,
राइट? मोक्ष इज अ very rare soul.
या
Yes. It is the cycle of life and death. You can find out whether the person has gone into light or is it still stuck as a Pret Yoni soul.
So moving to light is not moksha. That's what I would.
No.
No.
Moksha is the ending of life and death cycle. You become a spirit guide. You become a person in God's army. You never take birth again.
And moving to light is?
Moving to light is that you are not stuck in the darkness.
Okay.
You move to the next stage. Now you can go to the spiritual world and plan your next life.
Oh, okay. That's what moksha is. And which is very different from Kaivalya, right? Which is called...
Kaivalya is a state where a person attains bliss through realization.
Which can happen in my present lifetime also.
Yeah, absolutely. तो अष्टांग योगा का इसके साथ काफी कनेक्शन है।
अच्छा।
तो मतलब कहते हैं कि योग के कुछ अंडरस्टैंडिंग से, आसनों से, मेडिटेशन से भी आप इस स्टेट को कर सकते हैं। सो इट्स अ स्टेट ऑफ इनर कॉन्शियसनेस, रियलाइजेशन, जिसको समाधि भी कहते हैं। बट मोक्ष इज द एंड ऑफ द सोल्स जर्नी।
और बहुत कम लोगों को मिलता है, लाइक यू सेड, राइट? बट रीइंकार्नेशन तो होता है, एंड आई एम श्योर काफी लोगों का होता होगा। सो जैसे क्वांटम फिजिक्स में कहते हैं कि देयर इज नो कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ टाइम, राइट? देन डज इट मीन दैट a soul can also reincarnate in past lifetime because there's no concept of time? And the other, is there also a theory about parallel lives in Hinduism stating that a soul can also reincarnate in multiple dimensions?
A soul can incarnate in 7 dimensions at the same time that it is living a life.
So, for example,
6 of you are somewhere else. Yeah. Bhagavad Gita also says that there are parallel universes and there is one Brahma of every universe, just the creator of every universe. Quantum physics says that everything is interconnected and there's no concept of time. Time is not linear. And but when we say that can we be born in a past life, you are again referring to time that is linear. Because so there is no past and future, right?
Yeah.
There isn't. There just is now.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm assuming past is actually happening in now. So I might take like rebirth in that dimension.
And that is how you explain the deja vu experiences.
That a part of me has already experienced in some other dimension.
Or is kind of concurrently experiencing it as you are sitting here.
Yeah. And I think most of us have experienced deja vu, right? So interesting. I want to also understand more about the 6, like you said, that 6 of us are already there in 6 dimensions. Can you just expand on that?
In another podcast now.
Thoda sa, because it was so fascinating.
It is, but it just surpasses everybody's linear time and space. I think people get really puzzled and then they totally lose it because the mind is not able to comprehend, no? Yeah. The mind can only comprehend what it can touch, feel, see, third dimension.
That's true.
But we are living in parallel universes. And that again, everyone is not living. That again is a choice and a state of having achieved a certain consciousness. It is a gift given to a few.
So, okay. Does that mean that if I reach that consciousness, then only I can be present in all that 6 dimensions? Not that me physically being present in all the 6 dimensions. Not that. Okay, now that makes sense. Cool. Any last words that you'd like to tell people about death, like anything, any misunderstood concepts about death that can bring immense amount of peace, profound peace to people?
I would say that death is not the final destination. Death is a very merciful intervention to a life that has reached its max potential and cannot run anymore. So it's a welcome intervention where a soul can rebirth itself. I think the more people read about death, the more discussions there are around death, the better it will be understood and accepted as a concept. Death is actually peaceful. It is life that is full of struggles. Yet we are all running after life and not after death. Because we feel that the chapter will end, but endings are new beginnings.
Maybe, we've learned our karmic lesson for this life and we're just leveling
Done
up.
with it.
Yeah.
Done with it. Show khatam ho gaya.
Yeah.
अब निकलो हॉल से.
That's so true. But I think जो haunting चीज लगती है ना, haunting नहीं बोलूंगी, actually it's more daunting, not haunting, that क्योंकि आपकी body को pain होता है ना, वो suffering आपकी body को लगती है. So I think that attention to that suffering is so intense that we forget that we are beyond this. Right?
Which is why it is important to train ourselves for death.
How does one do that?
There are workshops. I run a workshop on training people for death. And nobody wants to attend it because they all want to presume that they're not going to die.
Immortal beings.
Immortal beings, yeah. And you know what? It's one of the most beautiful gifts you can give to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be so much in acceptance of it and so much in peace with it. And I think when we understand death and we are sort of ready for it, that is the time that we live the most beautiful lives. Because every moment then is poignant.
Any such one encounter with any of the souls that you had where you had your aha moment?
Lots. It is, okay, so I'll tell you about a soul that I met when I was teaching one of my mediumship classes. And I'll tell you two. So the first soul that I met was a soul of a mother who had committed suicide because she had two special needs children and she was not able to understand what to do. She had a non-supportive husband, etc., etc. And she got trapped because she felt very guilty because she committed suicide. And she said, how come, I shouldn't have done that and all of that. Then I told her, I can liberate you, I can help you. So she says, no, I want to learn my lesson. And what she told me was that both her children had given her another opportunity while she was pregnant to tell her that things are going to get more difficult after having a child. And that she had gone to the dark forces to get a child. Okay? So it was granted, but they were born with a medical file. And this was just not once, because the first one was a girl and then in the quest of a boy. And she said that, every time we play with nature, it can be so bad. She says, I'm trapped and I have to take out some certain time here before I can move to light. And when I heard that, it just hit me so much that the whole societal pressure of not having children can lead you to go to tantrics and dark practices to have one anyhow. And she says, not only did I bring suffering to myself, I also brought two souls that are suffering. And they had huge medical files, hole in the heart, like really medical files, and couldn't have survived beyond a certain point, which is what she knew. So first she got them, and then she was not able to support them towards their death. She exited much before. So it was a huge realization for me that it's not that society puts pressure on us. It is that how much pressure we put on ourselves. And we are ready to go to any extent. And I know of families that have gone to the dark forces, that have generated, multiple ancestral curses, and very good souls now coming as their children, but not able to break through the curses. So when I met that soul, I was very, very, very touched and very... The second soul that I know of, I've not encountered directly, was a soul who was 76 years old and an American who went into Tantra, got a very good guru, went into Tantra and of one of the Mahavidyas. Unfortunately, became so overzealous in his quest to get power through the Tantra that ended up practicing Tantra in a dark way. Within, I think, 3 months of turning into dark Tantra, he committed suicide. And when I asked him that, why did you commit suicide? He said, I had so many entities attached to me by then. That instead of me using them, they used me. And had I gone back to the US, had I left this place, I would have carried them with me everywhere, and they could have just attacked someone or the other. So where he was practicing had a spiritual protection ghera. So if you would have left that place, that ashram, they would be free. So sometimes we don't understand the extent of the damage we can cause with knowledge that is half-baked, things that are not, completely. And now those entities sort of possess him. He came through the Uja board of one of my now students who didn't know not to do Uja board then. That's how I encountered him.
So it's also our readiness, that how ready we are to even gain that knowledge, right?
But knowledge is one thing. What about power? This andha power that people want. To do what? Levitate. To do what? Kill somebody. Why? Use it like a knowledge. The 10 Mahavidyas are the Vidyas. You go wrong with them, it's like playing with fire. You're just gone.
I always, in fact, I also mentioned this on one of the podcasts that, when it comes to 10 Mahavidyas, they are said that they are the most fierce form because they're also overly protective and caring, right? And we need to worship them in a certain way and all. And I raised this question then, I was like, because I feel, your relationship with God is very private. I would want to worship her and look at her and maybe address her the way I want, because I feel, that is my connect with her. So why do I need to kind of fall in this, this is how it needs to happen. This is the system, you can't go wrong with it. And the guest that we had, she said something very beautiful. She said, this is people's way of looking at it. Of course it is private. Of course you can worship her the way you want, right? As long as there is no wrong intent attached, right? As long as there is a good intention and you're doing it for yourself without harming anyone, you can worship her the way you want. What is your take on that? Like, is it mandatory that all the 10 Mahavidyas need to be practiced and, worshipped, and how pandits, how, the gatekeepers of the knowledge have always prescribed?
Oh, this is a difficult question because the 10 Mahavidyas are literally like wires that have the most electrifying current and without any protection. So you don't have that plastic coating on them. They are literally live wires. I would like to say that think of it very simply. Our bodies, our minds don't have that kind of power. You are a 10-watt bulb holder and you're trying to put a 100-watt bulb. You're going to explode.
That's why you need a guru that can.
No, you may not need a guru. You can start with Mahavishnu as your guru, and there's a whole workshop that we do in 10 Mahavidyas. But there is a sequence. There is a way. There is a path. You may not say that I'm going to do all the hand mudras and I'm going to pray for 3.5 hours. Fine. But there is a path. There is a way to do it. There is a way you will know you can proceed to the second. It's not a random play zone that you can pick up any toy and say, okay, I like it because I'm attached to it.
Sure.
Because she's the incarnation of mother. She's not going to do anything to me. No. It's not like that.
Okay. That's
It's
good.
not like that.
Good.
It has to be. It's the Mahavidyas. Mahavidyas. And they are all forms of Ma Kali. And Ma Kali is all about, I wouldn't say destruction, but transformation. We are not ready to transform our food only in today's day and age. If I tell people from tomorrow you have to be on a water fast, you're not going to be able to take it.
Even the side of bed.
Yeah.
We can't even change
so
that.
Then what are we talking of Ma Kali's powers of transformation? We can't fathom it. We won't like it. Because if you ask her something, she'll say, I'll give it to you, but she'll give it to you in a way that is simply not fathomable. And then you'll sit there crying. Then don't go to her. All gods are powerful. Go to someone else. The 10 Mahavidyas are only for people who have a certain kind of horoscope. They have a certain kind of process of life. They have a certain kind of purpose of life. It's not good or bad. It's not high and low. It's just different, like science and arts.
I didn't know that, one needs to also see the horoscopes before a kind of.
No, you don't see the horoscopes before getting into the Das Mahavidyas. But when you see the sadhakas of Das Mahavidyas and you know that they have attained some sort of a siddhi, and you see their horoscopes, the planets will be placed similarly.
Okay, got it.
So it has our soul chart, our soul plan has an impact on the Ishta Devtas that we have and the gods that will favor us naturally because we are on this path.
Any particular information you would want people to know?
I would like to ask people that what is your expectation of death? And how prepared are we to die?
I don't think anyone would have that.
I would love to see in comments what that means and how have they interpreted this question. I would love to read their comments on how willing, not willing, but how prepared are they for death. Death being the ultimate reality of this life. How prepared are you all for death? How prepared are you for your loved ones moving on into a much more beautiful experience, for example?
Interesting.
So as a society, how ready are we? And if anyone has any more questions, I think you've covered so many in detail. It was a lovely intervention for me. But in case you have any more questions regarding death, you can let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to answer.
Sounds good. And with that, it's a wrap. And thank you so much, Dr. Manmeet. I have mentioned this even before the podcast started, that we've been trying to do this podcast for a way long time, but I think universe knows the best timing. The guides know the best timing. They knew that this is absolutely the right time for this podcast to come. So a big gratitude to the being in you to actually know that, this would be the perfect moment then when this podcast should be live. So thank you so much for sharing you opened up your heart to us with all your knowledge. So big gratitude and just keep doing the amazing thing. Typically the mentors come, Namesha Booth, you keep doing the amazing work and keep enlightening people. But in your case, I would say keep enlightening the souls that you're surrounded with. And I hope all of us together move to the light.
Absolutely. Let there be light.
Let there be light. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to all of you, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast and sticking till the end. Agar ye podcast aapko pasand aaya, so don't forget to subscribe, like our channel and click on the notification bell so that you can get updates. And अगर इस पॉडकास्ट आज के खास इस एपिसोड को लेके आपको लगता है कि कोई आपका लव्ड वन है जिसको ये पॉडकास्ट देखने की जरूरत है, शायद उनको उनके सवालों के जवाब मिल जाएंगे. So don't forget to share it with them and we will be back soon with another exciting guest and another exciting theme. Till then, take good care of yourself. Thank you.